Hello everyone, we're back again. If you didn't catch this morning's live at about 9 o'clock, we did the first coat on this bedroom set. And my day's going so well that we're back for coat number 2. In fact, I haven't stopped painting since then. My husband buggered off to the scrapyard there for a little bit. The baby's now asleep, so I've just gotten a paint all morning, which is a much better day than what I thought I was going to have. So I've actually gone through and I've done 2 coats on everything else but the bedside that I'm doing with you guys. So if you're just catching up, this is a full bedroom set. Let me pull you out and I'll show you what we're working on. So, let me turn you around. Oops, try not to trip over things. We've got this beautiful bedroom set. So this is a solid pine set. And when I say solid, I mean like inch thick bedroom set. So it's absolutely gorgeous. And this is for a client. So we have, we prepped it last Friday. That was scruff sanding and priming. We mixed our own grey primer using carbon, which is the colour, the black we've used, and the white base and blocker from Pureco. So we've primed on Friday. This morning, we went live for about half an hour, about 9 o'clock this morning. If you haven't seen it, jump on and have a look. We did the first coat of carbon, and the first coat was on this one. So this is what we're looking like at the moment. See, you can still see that primer coming through underneath, but it's like the coverage is really, really good. Obviously, black is always going to cover, black's always going to cover that little bit better than most other colours just because of the amount of pigment in it. The only area that's had 2 coats on this bedside that we're doing together is the feet. Just because I had it lying on its back, I did 2 coats. It's nice and warm in here. We do have the heater on, so everything's fully dried. And I've actually gone ahead and done the second coat on the other bedside tables, on all of the rest of the drawers. This one needs a few touch-ups, but it's looking pretty good. On our big sideboard, let me just, oh, hang on, wrong way. I don't think I've shown this yet. This is an old hospital bed. I haven't shown it on live. I did a quick video the other day showing how I changed it into my little work table. Now it goes up and down, and it's so good. This is my very first project on it, and it's amazing. So we've got 2 coats on here. This side needs a little touch-up. You can see just through there. Little touch-up. Our feet are gorgeous. This side's pretty good. It needs a little touch-up. I don't think the camera's showing it, but I need a little touch-up just there. But 2 coats on there. And I've done 2 coats on all the rest of the drawers as well. Again, they're looking really, really good. I've actually decided to leave these lines because as I painted, the more I painted, it's like all through it. So I'm going to be here forever filling, and I think it's just more of the timber coming through rather than anything else. So for now, we're going to leave it. I'll put it all together. I'll have a look, and then I'll decide whether or not that's going to change. But for right now, we're going to leave it. So 2 coats on everything except for the bedside table that we're doing together. So let me pop you back in our tripod and I'll show you how much paint we've used. So we didn't catch this morning's live. I've only got a 250ml pot of carbon to work with today. I've got more on the way, but it won't be here till tomorrow. And today's my painting day, so it's happening today. 250ml jar, and we've still got, oh, hang on. Come on, son, work with me. Can you see we've got just shy of like a centimetre in the bottom of the pot? So about 100 mils left, which will be more than enough. And that's done 2 coats on quite a big bedroom set. Like these aren't small bedside tables. They're probably standard, but they're quite chunky. There's the feet. There's obviously that decorative bit on the drawers. There's a lot going on these bedsides. And then the big, like it's a 6-drawer dresser. This is not a small bit of furniture. And we've still got heaps of paint left. More than enough to finish the second coat on this one that we're about to do. And then do any touch-ups, which is pretty good. So that was a cool experiment. I love when I can do things like this and sort of show you how much paint you're actually going to use. So this type of paint is, I want to say $23 on our website. We recently had a price drop in our Pureco paint. $23 did a whole bedroom set. Plus our primer. Again, it would only be a 200ml jar of primer, 1 coat of primer all over, and that is $20 for the primer. So under $50. If you add a brush, under $60. you can do your bedroom furniture. You wouldn't get a bed as well, but you definitely get a dresser and some bedside tables with a color like carbon. You wouldn't get, sorry, I don't know what, that's a weird notification. I don't know what that was saying. You wouldn't necessarily get the same result using, say, a white. In fact, I can pretty much guarantee you won't. Most whites do need 3 coats. But you get pretty similar with some of our greens, with some of our blues, some of our like greys and that as well. You get pretty similar results as well. So just goes to show how far a jar of paint can go. All right, let's do our next coat. So let me bring you in. As I said, I haven't stopped painting. So there is still, now the sun's come out, it's like bucketed down. It's so windy. That big grey bookcase in the corner is swaying. It is attached to the wall, but it is swaying. That whole wall is swaying. So if this crappy weather can just bugger off, it'd be lovely. All right, so I have continued to paint. So I still have paint on my brush and my roller. There's a little bit in my tray as well. Obviously, I'm going to have to pour out more, but just to show you where we're at, okay? I have not washed my brush or roller since I started painting at 9 a.m. They are fine. If you find that, and you're painting over a long period of time, it feels like it's drying out, feels like there's a lot of paint on it, either sort of squeeze it out a little bit, keep going, or wash it. If it's really feeling like it's just not flowing like it should, and your brush is sort of grabbing, or your roller's just grabbing, it doesn't feel like the paint's flowing off it like it would if it was a clean roller or brush, by all means, go through and give them a wash. But mine are fine. It's like 20-ish degrees in here, and it's like it's not drying that fast. The paint's drying pretty quickly, but on the roller and the brush, because of the amount that's on there, it's fine. So what else was I saying? That's it there. So we're looking really good. I have not sanded between coats. You do not have to sand between coats. It is completely optional. If it's feeling really, really rough and you feel like it needs a light sand, you can. And I'm going to demonstrate that for you. So if you do want to sand between coats, you're going to grab yourself some really fine sandpaper. We do stock this one. This is a 1200 grit sandpaper. It comes in a meter roll. You only use like a little chunk at a time. Is that paint on there? Yes, it is. I'm just making sure it's not oil. So grab yourself some really fine sandpaper, and all you're going to do, and you're going to let the sandpaper do the work. No pressure. And you're just really lightly going to go over that surface. Now, when you're brushing, you're going to get brush strokes. So this is going to help knock those down. When you're rolling, the roller can leave behind a tiny little bit of texture. Now, silk finish does self-level itself, so most of that texture vanishes. But sometimes a little bit of a sand, really, really light sand, it's just enough to knock that down that little bit more and give you a really silky, smooth finish as well. So really lightly. If you get like dog hair or your own hair stuck in it, some dust, etc., this is a great way to remove that as well. But you're just really lightly going to sand over it, and that's literally all. And if you feel it, you'll be able to tell that difference between a nicely sanded section and one that's not as well sanded. So now I've done it to one, I'm just going to do it to all 3 of these drawers. I have not done this to the rest of the bedroom set. You absolutely do not have to. This really doesn't need it, but I just want to demonstrate it. This is something that I get asked quite a lot. In fact, I had a question about it this morning in my messages. So I thought, well, let's show you. So, and this is literally all. It's just a few minutes. It doesn't take long. I really wouldn't bother with an electric sander for this. You can if you want to, but I don't really see the point. Plus, then you risk going too far as well, whereas when you're hand sanding, you've got full, complete control. So, again, one of those things. Up to you. Once you've given it a quick sand, make sure that you grab yourself a cloth, preferably a damp cloth, and oh yes, I can do that. Just a damp cloth, just to remove any of that residue. spray bottle. These are brilliant because you can control the spray. Just a little bit of water, just there, and then just wipe over that surface. Just to remove that dust. Obviously, you don't then want to be painting that dust into your finish because that's just going to sort of defeat the purpose of sanding to begin with. Okay. Here's paint. So, second coat. Exactly the same as your first coat. I'm going to pop some, I'm going to move my roller. Where am I going to sit you? I'm going to sit you, something like that. Today's a messy painting day. I've literally got paint going everywhere here. It's all over my hands. It's all over my shirt. I think I've got some of my jeans. It's everywhere. Now, tip some paint out. Grab your brush first. Now, my brush, it's been, I don't know, 10-15 minutes since I last painted with it. It's feeling a little bit firm, so all I'm going to do, I just flicked myself then, I think. Little spray on it, and then, where's my tray? I'm just sort of going to work that into that brush a little bit. It's just going to loosen up those bristles a bit. Good to go. Okay, so a little bit of paint on there. Again, I'm going to cut in first. Now, when you're doing something like this as well, and your drawers sit on top of your piece, see how they're not like, damn it, now I don't remember the word. They're not flush. They're sitting on top. Don't leave those drawers in there touching that paint, because when you pull them out, you're going to rip your paint off. It gets a bit sticky as it's drying. It then dries, obviously not sticky, but don't leave these drawers in there. I've got them in here for like 2 minutes to show you just the painting, just because it's a bit easier and alive. But all the rest I haven't put back into paint. I've just left them sitting on the table. So like so. Again, we're just cutting in. This is just making sure it just helps give us that nicer finish. So we're going to do that on all of the drawers. And then we're going to do it along the base in a minute, and then along the top as well. And I'll show you that as we go. So exactly the same process, like so. And then you're going to grab your roller, same as earlier, and you're going to roll it just like normal. There's no trick to this. Once you've done it once, you're good to go. You can go in any direction you like. Now this is my final full coat. I'll do a few touch-ups as I was saying, but mostly like what I do now, this will be the very top layer of paint. There won't be anything else put over the top. So I do have quite a lot of paint in my roller as well still. Do our edges. Yes, Oliver, how can I help? They'll be on the table over there somewhere, I think, baby. Oliver's got his speech therapy and OT appointments today, and they're smack bang in the middle of the day, so he gets to hang out at work today. Because by the time he's like at school, he's only there for like an hour, and then he's done. They'll be in that pile there somewhere, darling, if there's scissors. Otherwise, you'll have to wait. Alright, I'll only be like 5 minutes. Probably 10 to 15, but we'll tell him 5. Like so. One draw done. Now I'm just pulling it out so that I can do the actual body of the piece as well. That one over there. Let's do draw number 2. More paint on your roller. Like so. Down that side. Oops. Around those edges. Now, I will come back and do any touch-ups. So if I find that I have missed an area, it's not the end of the world, because you can do touch-ups. Pureco paints, in particular, are really, really good with touch-ups. If I just have to do like a tiny little dot somewhere, Hang on, I've got nowhere to put this. Hang on. I'll slide it into the other bed side. I just realised my table's full with the other drawers. Yeah, Pureco paints are really, really good. So if I have to do a touch-up, even if it's like in the middle of the drawer, I find as long as I do it quite well and it's not too heavy, it sort of just blends in perfectly and you can't see it. So touch-ups aren't an issue, really, at all. Another coat. Like so. Doing our edges. So this, as I said earlier, this little concave, I don't know, routed edge, is quite easy to roll, but the edge on like around the base of the piece is not rollable because of the curve. But the one on the drawers is pretty good, so we don't have any major significant issues rolling it. Again, if I find that I need to do touch-ups, I can, so I just check like along the base of the drawers, just so they're nice and neat and tidy and looking good. I'm just going to slide this one in over here as well, carefully, without getting paint on my fingers, and perfectly without touching the wet paint. Alright, let's do this bit. So, going to grab my brush again. I'm going to paint along this top edge. I'm just cutting it in. This is just going to give me a nicer finish overall. I'm going to do it along this bottom edge as well. I'm going to wipe my hand along there because there was some dust. Oh, that sun's really quite warm now it's come out. Like so, Oliver is using the couch as a trampoline. Loading up your roller. And just paint away. It really is so easy. You don't like this doesn't take this really doesn't take any particular skill. It takes a bit of time. If you're only new, take your time with it. Like there's really no rush. You do have time with your paint to sort of work on it as long as it's not too warm. You've got plenty of open time when you paint. So if you are considering having a go, have a go. Use any paint you like. What I'm showing here with Pureco, you can use with any brand. We also stock Mint by Michelle. But what I'm showing you can do with absolutely any brand of paint, any kind of paint. Obviously, I strongly recommend Aussie Made and Owned if you can get your hands on it. There's plenty of stockists all over Australia of quite a few different brands as well. But have a go. I want to see your creations. And this month, every order that you place, you've got the chance to win back the price of your order as well as a gift voucher. So you can do more shopping. And I've also got my little giveaway box, my little goodie box, Lucky Gift Box, that's the name. I couldn't think of the name. Lucky Gift Box out this week. Place an order online or pop in store. You can pick a little freebie. I don't have any more carbon on the shelf right now, but I will tomorrow. I might even chuck it up online now once we're done here. Almost out of paint, so I'm just going to pour a little bit more into my... Come on. So we're like, you can see the bottom of the jar now. We're right at the very bottom, but there's still heaps in there. There's probably 50 ml of paint left. And I've only poured out a little bit because there's more than enough. I am here today all day as well until 4 o'clock. So if you want to pop in and see me and not my husband, today's the day. Normally Mondays I do Oliver's appointments. So I'm like here for the morning and then I'm gone. But Joe works all weekend instead, so that I could have today here and get some stuff done. Like so. And I'm just going to roll along that edge as well. I have painted it in, but we're just going to do a little roll along there. Now, if I find that that looks a little bit patchy once it's dry, you can come back and do another coat. Don't stress. Sometimes when you're rolling a larger surface, it might look a little bit patchy. It's really not a big deal. And it is very easy to touch up again. All right, last side. Again, I'm just going to grab a little bit of paint on my brush. And I'm going to come along here. And along the base. I'm going to come in with our roller. You can roll in any direction you like, but I generally try to stick to one direction as much as possible with my final coat. I find if I do have any lines, it just looks that little bit better. And they're much easier to hide then rather than being like in every direction if I do have to do a touch up. And that way too, you don't miss big sections. There's a lot of noise out there today. Now we've got a plane going over. We're right near the airport here in Bendigo. But the concrete yard's full steam ahead. The amount of dust coming out of there today is ridiculous with this wind. And I think my husband has the pressure washer out there going as well. So there's extra noise. And I know this microphone's picking up everything. This microphone I think's okay. The other one I used the other day, I do apologise, I didn't realise. I don't think it's okay. And the sound wasn't very good. So I'm hoping this one's still alright. But I am, as soon as I've got some funds, I'm definitely going to invest in a really good high quality microphone. These ones are just cheap ones. I think I got them off eBay, but there we go. Alright, second coat done. Looking fabulous. So, now what do? Now we wait for it to dry. And then, while we're standing here, we're going to touch up the bottom of that drawer. It's looking at me. Wait for them to dry. So again, you don't have to wait a certain amount of time for your paint to dry. Like you don't have to wait 4 hours between recoats or anything like that. It is recommended. You do not have to do that. 1 to 4 hours is sort of where your paint will be dry enough to do another coat. If you don't want to do another coat, say give this 10 minutes and then do another coat. If your paint's not fully dry, you're going to lift that paint, which obviously we don't want. So you just need to wait long enough that it is fully touch dry. Anywhere within an hour to 4 hours generally. I have never had paint actually take 4 hours to dry. So just keep that in mind. Apart from that, I'm going to let this fully dry now and I'll come back and I'll do some touch-ups. I can see a couple of bits on the bigger dresser and a couple on the drawers, but nothing significant. Again, this touches up beautifully. You won't even know that I've touched anywhere up. And then our next live, we'll see how we go today. Or it's lunchtime. I'm here till 4 o'clock though. We'll see how we go. I have to go and do paperwork at some point today, but we've just got to do the tops of these. So we're going to finish cleaning up our sanding. I've sanded with the electric sander as much as possible. We'll finish cleaning them up with hand sanding. And then we're going to stain them. We're going to stain them nice and dark with a mixture of sable and Midnight, which are our two darker stains in the Pureco stain and glaze range. So that will be our next live. And then I've just got to chuck the handles back on, put it all together, and we're done. Thank you all so much for joining me today. Again, I really appreciate it. If you have any questions, if there is anything in particular that you'd like to see, please let me know. I'm very easygoing, as you know, and if there is something that you want to see, I can show you. I think that's it. Have a lovely afternoon. If I don't see you again, I think I will, but we'll see how the day goes. Bye, everyone.